I want to begin today talking for a moment about the presidential debate that occurred on Tuesday night. I want to congratulate the Cleveland Clinic, Case Western Reserve University, Mayor Jackson, the city of Cleveland, and the police department. They all did a great job. We're very proud of the job that they did. As Ohioans, we were certainly very proud to host this debate. However, the debate itself was certainly not our country's finest hour or not our country's finest 90 minutes. I hope that the next debate will focus on the future, on the vital issues, on the decisions that the next president of the United States will have to make, on the substantive issues that this country faces. This is a very important election. As you know, I support President Trump. His choices for federal district and circuit court judges have been exemplary. His choices for Supreme Court have as well been excellent. His most recent nomination of Judge Barrett is also excellent. I could not be happier with the nomination. I believe his tough stance in trade negotiations will continue in the future to expand job growth in Ohio and in this country. I've known Joe Biden for many years, having served in the United States Senate with him. While many times we may have disagreed on policy issues, I know that he too wants what is best for this country of ours. The name calling by both candidates is simply not helpful. The name calling by both candidates is not productive. Now, each of us saw this debate through our own eyes, our own lens, through the prism of our own beliefs and the candidate that we support. However, I do believe that there can be agreement on what we as Americans have a right to see in the next debate. What is needed in the next debate is a robust, energetic debate on the challenges that the next president will face. And as in presidential debates of the past, each candidate has an obligation to articulate a vision for the future of this country, to articulate what kind of a country that candidate believes we should be leaving to our children, our grandchildren, and our great-grandchildren. As I've done in the past at several of these press conferences, I want to talk about hate in America. And this is something that deeply concerns me. There are fringe groups and individuals in this country of both the right and the left who simply do not share our common values, who do not share the great values of this country. There are haters. There are people who hate Jews, Muslims, African Americans, and we could go on and on. There is no place in America, no place in this great country for that. There are people who believe that violence is the way to achieve political ends. That is not right. And I want to again speak out against that. White supremacists know only hate. Anti-Semites know only hate. And we could go on and on. It sickens me that there are people in our country who perpetrate this hate, violence, and the work to divide us. We cannot let these fringe groups of the right or left divide us. We cannot let them into that system when they preach violence, when they preach hate. As I said at the end of May following the death of George Floyd, we have a responsibility to each other. We have a responsibility to our country. In all aspects of our lives, we simply must not allow hate to prevail over love, over kindness, over compassion, especially in these times of uncertainty, fear, division. Because, to paraphrase the words of Dr. Martin Luther King, hate is too great a burden for this country. I want to talk now again about the sanctity of the Ohio election process. We have a long, long history in this state of running fair, transparent elections. Because of laws passed by the General Assembly, work done by Republican and Democrat secretaries of the state in the past and the current Secretary of State, Frank LaRose, and because of Democrats and Republicans working together at the county level and at the precinct level. They have worked together successfully for decades. And because of this history, and because of what we have done in the past and what we're going to continue to do, Ohioans can be assured of a fair, orderly election this November. As our history proves, our election process in Ohio is orderly. It is transparent. It's bipartisan. As Ohioans can and should expect, the will of the people in November will be respected. In Ohio and in this country, elections are sacred. There is a sanctity to our election process. We give them proper respect. There's a reason. The flags outside the polling places are there not only to signal where that precinct is or where that voting place is, but they also say to the approaching voter, this is truly a special place. Inside these flags, you and your vote are safe. Campaigning ceases inside this space so that voting can go on unfettered, so that people can feel safe and confident and heard. My commitment to every Ohio voter is this: we will not tolerate any interference in this sacred process. We will, as we have done in the past, protect each citizen's right to vote and to have their vote counted. The system, this bipartisan system, has worked in the past. It will work again. Talked to Frank LaRose today. He wanted me to remind you of several things. The last day to register to vote is this coming Monday. If you are not registered, you can do it at your Board of Elections, or you can register online at voteohio.gov. If you are not registered, or if you aren't sure about it, go ahead and contact the Board of Elections. You can go online. Further, for over a decade now, Ohioans have enjoyed a menu of options for casting their ballot. If you'd like to vote on Election Day, November 3rd, that option is protected and open to you. The polls will be open from 6:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. at night. You can find your polling place at voteohio.gov. If you want to vote in person, but worry you won't have time on Election Day, your County Board of Elections will begin opening their early vote center this coming Tuesday, October 6th. You can see the hours and locations also at voteohio.gov. If you prefer to cast your ballot in the privacy of your own home, Secretary LaRose has mailed an absentee ballot request form to all registered voters. Fill it out, mail it in today. If you misplaced that application or accidentally threw it away, you can download a new form again at voteohio.gov. Finally, I want to address what happens after the election. One of the things we've done well throughout our history is the transfer of power after an election. Sometimes an incumbent president is reelected. Sometimes it might be an open seat. Sometimes it's a situation where the incumbent loses. But whatever the situation, since the beginning of this country, however hotly contested these races have been, however riled up people get, however partisan it gets, however emotional people get, when the results are in, when they are in, people will accept it. Might not like it, but we're Americans. We accept it. As an author, Theodore White wrote in a book about another presidential election a number of years ago, we as Americans understand the transfer of power. We get it. We do it right. Talking about Election Day and ultimately this transfer of power, if you just bear with me for a moment, I'm going to quote what White wrote. He's talking about the campaign and campaign ending. All of this is and talking about Election Day. All of this is invisible, for it is the essence of the act that as it happens, it is a mystery in which millions of people each fit one fragment of a total secret together, none of them knowing the shape of the whole. What results from the fitting together of these secrets is, of course, the most awesome transfer of power in the world. The power to marshal and mobilize, the power to send men to kill or be killed, the power to tax and destroy, the power to create and the responsibility to do so, the power to guide and the responsibility to heal, all committed into the hands of one individual. Heroes and philosophers, brave men and vile, have since Rome and Athens tried to make this particular manner of transfer of power work effectively. No people has succeeded at it better or over a longer period of time than the Americans. As the transfer of this power takes place, there's nothing to be seen except an occasional line outside church or school or a file of people fidgeting in the rain, waiting to enter the booths. No bands play on Election Day, no troops march, no guns are readied, no conspirators gather in secret headquarters. The noise and the blare, the bands and the screaming, the pageantry, the oratory of the long fall campaign fade on Election Day. All the planning is over, all effort spent. Now the candidate simply must wait. That's what we do. We are Americans. We do it very, very well. And we will do it this year as well.